we have a 2018 Ram 1500 EcoDiesel in here for check suspension, steering. It's getting a rattling noise going over bumps or down a gravel drive. He thinks it may need ball joints. We're gonna get in here, check it out, see what's going on with it, and let's see what we find.
I use a small jack stand just because I can't fit a big footprint jack stand with the tire and wheel on. So what we're doing is we've lowered the vehicle down onto that jack stand to load the suspension. I can use a pry bar under the wheel and tire to pry up and down to check for vertical play in the upper and the lower ball joint. I can hear the rattle click noise. I mean, it could be the inner tire rod. I'll have to look at that a little closer. We are on the passenger side. It's already preloaded the suspension. Got my pry bar. I'm not feeling anything. I don't feel any play left or right. Only thing I feel is on the driver's side just a little bit. So I do believe the other side's going to be an inner tie rod. I will look at that a little closer and we'll figure that out. I'm going to see if I can do this without pulling the wheel. It's got wheel lock keys and stuff like that. May not need it. So now I can turn the wheel out of its place. I'm going to mark where the tie rod, the outer tie rod started on the threads. That doesn't always matter because you could have more threads on the new replacement part. But I'm going to count them, so we should be close. I always recommend the customer get in alignment after replacing steering and suspension components. Got a 24 millimeter here. Okay, it's broke loose. Okay. I'm going to remove this clamp from the bellows boot on the inner tie rod. Now we are going to remove this stainless clamp on the inner boot of the bellows that goes to the steering gear. Okay, got that clamp free. There we go. Gently pry, we don't want to tear the boot. There we go, it's off. You want to grab a pair of pliers, gently squeeze and turn. And once you get it rotated some, okay. So that joint is bad. Let's make sure it's not in the rack. Yeah, it's not in the rack. The noise was in that joint. Okay, so I got my new inner tie rod. It already comes with Loctite on the threads. I got the boot on here. After you put the boot on, make sure to put your clamp on before you put your jam nut on. There we go. Now you might buy a tie rod that doesn't have Loctite on the threads. I do recommend putting some type of Loctite, whether it be red or blue, but something. Which is a decent amount. Slide the boot up and over. I'm going to take my mechanics wire, because I've twisted it one time. Take my pliers and I'm going to pull down as I twist. And that's gonna cinch that up. I don't want to cut the boot. Pulling down, twist up the slack. Once I see it start to dig into the rubber boot, then I can consider that good. I will snip off the excess here, and I'm gonna push that down so I don't get somebody mad at me from cutting themselves. It's just good like that. So right there is where I need to be. We're gonna install that to the steering knuckle. It's very important to not over tighten your tie rods or your ball joints, because if you over tighten them, it'll put too much preload on the joint in the socket and it can cause premature wear. Outer tie rod to the steering knuckle, this nut is 22 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. 21 wrench. We're gonna put this ratchet in reverse, which will suck up the nut. This ratchet doesn't get very tight, so 22 foot-pounds, 90 degrees. There we go. Another thing we need to look at is the sway bar frame bushings. So frame mounted bushings doesn't take much play or gap inside there. Sway bar frame bushings can also make noise going over bumps. It doesn't take much play or a gap in those bushings for them to be noisy. 18 millimeter. Loosen the other side. Get down there. You can use a little Dremel. You could use a razor blade. Get it hot. I like to just use this. Carefully use electric saw. I don't want to cut into the sway bar, so. And sometimes you can just break it the rest of the way. There she be. So on these trucks, they have two different options, like a 32 millimeter sway bar or a 36. This truck is a 36. 18 millimeters. Okay. A lot of options for this. Shot out of here like a slingshot. That's what I like to do. Okay, new bushing. I want the opening to be on the bottom because most of the pressure is going to be going up. I don't want that where the split is. Start those by hand. I've got a gravel drive here and it's definitely not smooth, so we'll see if we can hear anything going over these bumps. I told him that, you know, the problems that I'm fixing may or may not correct his noise he's hearing, but I do know that those parts are needing to be replaced. So here we go. So we'll see if I can duplicate anything. All right, so we are gonna hit another bump here. We'll see if I can hear anything. It's a dip, actually, not really a bump, but heard the keys hit right there, but that's all I heard.